Hi world, Steph here with today's episode of Soil and Soul, bringing to you information and entertainment about how to save soil and why it is important for our souls and how can we rejuvenate our souls through these difficult times that many of us are experiencing on this planet at this time. That was a beautiful butterfly. So I want to give thanks for nature. I want to give thanks for cannabis. I want to give thanks for any and all people working towards helping regenerate hearts, minds, and soil. And today's episode is a special episode about the Regenerative Seed Co. Company and the process of the science of regenerative agriculture, specifically in cannabis. So I just got this beautiful, comfortable 100% cotton tee in the mail. I received it in my P.O. box on Thursday. Sorry guys, I should probably get a mailbox here at my house. And with these seeds, this came with my ticket to the Science of Regenerative Cannabis conference that I attended in March, and I'm really excited about these seeds. These seeds are called the SoDo Project, or SoDo, I'm not sure. I thought of SoDo, and that name comes from South Downtown in Seattle, from Josh, who is the geneticist who put these together from Mean Gene from Mendocino and Aficionado, and then handed down, gifted out to him through none other than Kevin Jodry. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about these seeds and why regenerative cannabis farming is important for saving soil. So when we grow cannabis, or even not just THC cannabis, but even hemp for CBD or for fiber, these plants help with the sequestration of excess carbon dioxide in the soil and the atmosphere. And the root systems also help go down, and especially when you're growing them in a companion planting permaculture style, help to go down deeper into the soil and to break up the bedrock or the harder parts of the soil, and then to draw up the deeper nutrients into the soil, as well as when you plant things together that add the nutrients, for example, like nitrogen and phosphorus that you would need in the soil to grow healthy plants. So cannabis is here to help us save soil, and it's also here to help save the planet and to help improve our health and to get us collectively into a place where we can live and work interdependently, where as we care for the environment, we're still able as a species to get our needs met for the basic bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But also cannabis can also provide us with luxurious items, whether it be high quality organic hemp seeds or hemp milk for our food, hemp fiber for clothing, high quality medicine. And the more that we educate people about regenerative farming practices, whether it be for cannabis or other plants, the better we're going to be able to take care of our soil. And when we incorporate regenerative practices into everything we do, it helps to, regenerate life within. Thank you, Infinite Wisdom in Maine as well, which was, where we had at Nature Summit, they had the conference for this year's edition, the water series of regenerative cannabis, where we learned about a multitude of topics, including the importance of water quality and different methods, including the Kangen method for treating the water, for preparing the water, and the pH of the water, as well as many other aspects of water. And so these seeds, these are a cross between root beer and ChemDog Special Reserve. So the Special Reserve was originally from Aficionado, and they were bred as a team breeding project. And so the Mean Gene in about 2013 crossed the pollen of the ChemDog Special Reserve male from the root beer line with a Hindu Black Afi line with Hollywood Pure Kush and a little bit of headband mixed in. which gives this a strong combination, hopefully a delightful combination. I have to be honest, I haven't been able to taste it yet, but from what I researched online, I know I'm a bit late on this, and everyone else has probably already talked about these seeds, and everyone else knows about these seeds, and everyone else has probably already sprouted some of these seeds. But I don't know if it's a Pittsburgh thing or what, but I'm catching up on everything. It could have been from the traumatic brain injury, you know, years of chronic PTSD. And I don't say these things because I want a pity party, because I don't want a pity party. I say these things because I am trying to be, as Brené Brown suggests, vulnerable and open and human, and making connections and links and saying like, hey, me too. There have been times that I've struggled and hard things that I've gone through, and we can still find a common and a higher ground even to meet on, despite misunderstandings or conflicts. And cannabis is a part of what can help some of us, those of us who embrace cannabis, to do that. As I was saying, the genetics of this particular variety, which I am still going to start growing some of these. So the root beer flavor, packed full of anise and vanilla. There's a little bit of vanilla in there. It is said to have a beautiful body full of red hairs, and that the flavor is a creamy sweet pop that also has a bit of licorice in there. So I prefer to go with the flow, and whenever I think of root beer, I think about being in Pennsylvania and growing up in Pennsylvania and drinking some of the old school root beer that they had in Pennsylvania. And in root beer, originally was actual roots, and one of the main roots that they used in the Northeast was sassafras from the sassafras tree, sassafrasy. And whenever the leaves from the sassafras tree look like little mitts, like 3-lobed mitts even. It makes me think of kisses and one of my dear herbal teachers. And so sassafras, saccifragus, which actually ends up sounding a little bit like the word sexy, is a plant that has a lot of deep medicinal uses. And so whenever root beer was made, particularly by the native people of the region, sassafras was a main ingredient. You could also add birch bark, and you can make a root and make birch root beer. And then later, sarsaparilla was also added in, which sarsaparilla is actually more from the southern parts of the Americas and from Jamaica and Mexico and places that have more of that climate. And so these things were brought together through trade, including ginger root. So you've got ginger, Zingiber officinalis, sassafras, saccifragus, and then you have sarsaparilla and birch, and you can put all these and others, including spikenard root occasionally, which into these brews, and you would have these both medicinal and delicious brews. And I'm wondering if it would be possible to do that with cannabis root as well. So anyway, you have this explosion, this pop flavor, this creamy, delicious pop flavor, where you've got it mixed with that Hollywood Kush, you got the special Chemdog Reserve in there. And so from my understanding is that these were blended together by Mean Gene, and then they were also used in winning an Emerald Cup by a cultivator named Lady Ellie, E-L-E, or Lady L. And so again, me being over here pretty much by myself in Morgan, Vermont, I am just now learning about all these people, and I'm just now making these connections, and like I said, you know, catching up on all of these things, because my work has been largely in the one-on-one mental health sector and working with kids in a school setting and teaching. And so my entry point into cannabis has been a bit rocky for me, because I feel like I have one foot in both worlds. And I'm trying to bring a healthy and holistic understanding and education of cannabis to a population of people who are not very cannabis friendly, and look at it often as a drug, even though cannabis doesn't cause nearly as many health problems as sugar, for example. Like, if we want to look at sugar and the history of sugar and the amount of inequity and slavery and pain and injustice that went into the sugar business for a very long amount of time, and then also look at how sugar now has caused obesity and diabetes epidemic in the United States, at least, I feel that it would be beneficial, it would behoove us as people, as a nation, to really look at these things with honesty and clarity, and that cannabis at least helps me to do that and to put things into a greater perspective. What are really the things that are causing harm to us individually and collectively? How can we make that better? And for me, cannabis is part of that bridge, because I love cannabis and I love cannabis people as well. So thank you to Josh, thank you to Mean Gene, who then gifted this to Kevin Jodrey, like I said before, who then gifted this particular genetic lineage to Josh from Regenerative Seed Co, who then crossed it with a hardy Afghani variety, if I am passing on the oral history of these genetics correctly. And this is where we get the SoDo Project, the Root Beer Chem Dog Special Reserve F2. And so again, I'm a little bit late, but that's okay, better late than never. And I got my new favorite tea, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have been able to attend the conference and to learn from the greats, learn from the legacy cultivators, to learn from the masters on many levels, and to be a part of the regenerative agriculture, save soil, and cannabis movement altogether, because it's really about, in my opinion, and the way that I come at it, is really about love and freedom and respect for all, and making the world a better place, and appreciating this gorgeous giant globe, this giant Garden of Eden that we have, that we are, with our intelligence and capabilities, capable of saving and living on in peace. Like, we have the intellectual capabilities to do everything we need on this planet. It seems to me that the unsolved mystery here is more about how to create peace on this planet, so that we are not in the midst of wars, and so that we're not fighting over resources, and we're not worried about nuclear bombs going off or whatever, what have you. And so cannabis is one of the keys to that. Cannabis is a key to creating more peace on this planet, as well as increasing our quality of life and our physical and mental health, as well as helping to save the soil. So you get the trinity, the 3-in-1 benefits of cannabis. And so thank you to the Regenerative Seed Co for this SoDo project. I so do love cannabis. Thank you for your patience with me, and thank you for listening to this video. I'm really craving a root beer now, and I hope that you all go and plant some seeds and be a blessing. Mwah. Bye.